There are many problems which affect the lives of the family farmers in India, starting from the climate change, which is resulting in consecutive drought conditions for the last 3-4 years continuously in many parts of India, and farmers who are, in spite of climate change and natural calamities, when they take their crop to the market, there's no market assurance, access to market and access to the fair price and scientifically fixed price is one of the biggest problems in India. And indebtedness, because farming itself is not anymore an economically viable occupation. So farmers are getting indebted year by year, so they have no access to the banking credit system, because they get after some years of not prepaying the loan, they just don't have any more access to credit, so they have to take credit from the local money lenders, and that comes as a package along with the humiliation and insults and so on. So it's a vicious circle. So the family farmers, the small scale food producers in India are basically surrounded, are caught in a vicious circle. And on top of it, there is free trade agreement. Free trade agreement which is happening, they are negotiating with different countries. We have at the time of our harvest of pigeon peas, we have imported pigeon peas left in the open market from African countries. We have sugar coming from Brazil, and our sugarcane farmers who are supposedly doing well economically, who used to do well economically. Sugarcane is a commercial crop. From the last almost 10 years, every year they are in the street fighting for the better prices. So it's the same issue with the oil seed farmers. You take mustard oil, you take sesame oil, you take coconut oil. We have palm oil entering India from Malaysia and Indonesia. So free trade is another biggest problem which is actually hitting directly on the lives of the farmers. The farmers organization that I come from is almost a 40-year-old organization. We started working in the 1980s to bring the farmers together to fight for their rights. And over the last 20 years, we have not been only fighting for our rights, but we are also building alternatives that we are talking about, that we think that we need different models of development. And agroecology is one of the important constructive works that we are engaged in. In simple words, in the next 10 years, the family farmers across the planet should be able to feel proud about what they are doing. The UNDFF should be able to bring back the lost dignity and the lost identity of the farmers. Today, farming is not just an economically unviable occupation, but it is also something the youth doesn't want to call themselves as farmers anymore. They don't feel any pride with it. They prefer to work as a watchman in a factory in an urban area, but they don't want to work with the land. So you have to bring back that pride in farming again. So that is going to be a challenging part of UNDFF, challenging work for UNDFF. And it's not easy to do it, but there are ways to do it. We have seen We have been seeing how to do it, and we see that you can do only by engaging with them. You cannot work as a charity. You cannot just bring money and spend in the rural areas and give donations. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to engage with them, you have to train them, and you have to make them understand how important this occupation is, and how important it is to continue to grow food. And also an answer it is the only answer. Farming sector is the only sector which can answer the existential crisis of the planet, which is an alarming, happening in an alarming scale. And because agriculture is the only sector which directly works with nature. So unless you work with nature without harming it, without disturbing it, and that is what agroecology is all about. Communication internally as well as externally is very important. Internally, to know that you are not alone, to know that there are many fellow beings, in your own village, in your own state, in your own country, in the same world that you live in, irrespective of the language that you speak, irrespective of the situation that you come from or the country you come from. Farmers are going through the same problem, and all are fighting for the survival, and all are fighting on the same question. So first of all, to feel that you're not alone, and to get motivated from each other's stories. In order to feel that they're all doing the same work, but they are united and in the struggle and in finding the solution, internally inside the organization, as well as to tell outside the world that we exist. You exist because we exist. Today you have eaten your lunch because we grew it. To make the consumers also part of the farmers' struggle. Communication plays a major role. If you are investing with the consciousness of the existential crisis that the farming and the family farming and the planet is going through. So you cannot say that I will invest on the research on GMOs as well as on agroecology. You cannot say that I will do my foreign direct investment in milk production, and at the same time I will encourage women farmers in milk production. So you have to have a clear understanding and a clear direction for your investment. And today farming, not just the farming, the planet itself is going through an existential crisis. And every year we have been seeing hunger and malnutrition on the rise in the graph, and agriculture, the population who are living on agriculture and farming are on the fall. Every year, we are seeing that farmers are leaving farming. So how do you bring them back to farming? So what kind of a model you want to have in the farming? Do you want to continue to do food production with people or without people? Do you want to continue to do food production just with machines? Then who is going to eat those? So you will have to have more machines to eat the food grown by your, So this is totally a crazy model that we are following. So we have to have a clear direction for investments on bringing back farmers on the farms and re-establish their identity and dignity. Lastly, the only thing I would like to say is that UNDFF has to bring in women, youth and agroecology in the center of its program. There is no family farming without women. There is no family farming in the future without youth. If you don't train our youth today, The family farming is not going to continue after 10 years. And the only way of bringing women and youth back to family farming is through agroecology. And agroecology is the only way, and that has to be very, very, very clear to us.